Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. Today we are looking at some of the unused areas and features around the New Horizons island that seemingly exist, but for some reason have no real purpose. You'll see what I mean as we get into the video. But first I just wanted to let you know I also upload daily on my Let's Play channel, The Maury Plays, where we have just started an Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City playthrough on the Nintendo Wii. It's pretty fun. And if you like New Horizons, I think you'll really enjoy it. So if you're looking for ways to support, subscribing over there too is a huge help. Now with that out of the way, Animal Crossing New Horizons has come a long way since version 1 back at launch nearly 3 years ago. So much has changed and been added to the game, including characters, events, shops, swimming mechanics, furniture, cooking, and of course the DLC. But despite all of these updates, there are still a few areas around the New Horizons island that seem unfinished and basically unused. So we're going to take a closer look at a few of them and also discuss whether or not there's any hidden meanings to these areas. Number 1. Dodo Airlines. Now the big one for me are the chairs and seating area that can be found inside the Dodo Airlines airport. If you head to the airport you can see a total of 8 seats. However, this entire area appears to exist for no apparent reason and for the most part goes completely unused. Now it is possible to have 8 local residents move in, which is in line with the number of Switch profiles you can have, and using local or online multiplayer it's possible to have up to 8 players all playing at the same time on the same island. So you could argue these chairs were put here to make it look more like an airport and to give all of the players somewhere to sit if for some reason everyone decided to head to the airport at the same time. Makes sense, kind of. Now the only other place we see this is of course inside the Roost, where there is enough seats for everyone to sit down and enjoy a coffee together. So if this seating area has a clear purpose, why does the seating area inside the airport feel so unused? If I had to guess, I would say at some point Nintendo toyed with the idea of players all travelling together at some point to the same islands, whether that's Nook Mile Islands, Halves, or even minigame islands, and needed the players to all sit together to depart. We've seen this exact mechanic in New Leaf when online players would travel together and all needed to wait in a seating area. So it makes you wonder, are these seats the leftovers of an abandoned feature, or is this a hint at what's to come? Or are they just seats that we don't really use? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 2, Nook's Cranny. Now moving on, another feature in Animal Crossing New Horizons that feels very unfinished to me and includes an area that's totally unused is of course Nook's Cranny, specifically the outside of the store. If we check out the outside of the upgraded Nook's Cranny shop, you can see the footprint of the building itself is much larger than the shop. So much so the developers place a random bucket on the outer edge that literally has nothing to do with anything, making the entire area around Nook's Cranny appear very unused and almost a waste of space. Now typically when footprints and areas like this are unused, it's to reserve that area that's needed for future upgrades. We've seen the same thing with the museum, for example, where the tent reserves the area with a rope fence, then the now lost middle upgrade reserves the area with a concrete footprint until the final museum upgrade is unlocked, ready to take up the entire area. The same thing happens with player homes, for example. We start with some extra bushes that reserve the plot size for our final house upgrade. So with this mechanic in mind, you can really see why this random footprint that's placed around the Nook's Cranny upgrade building feels so unused. Again, if I had to guess, this area was probably added to Nook's Cranny to future-proof it in case they decided they ever wanted to add another upgrade, which like the museum would fit the entire footprint. At that point, the likes of the drop-off box and even the seasonal decorations would be part of the actual building rather than just placed around the edges. Number 3, Peninsula. Next up we have the Peninsula area that can be found on every single Animal Crossing New Horizons island map. I'm not sure if this is the official name for it, but it's the piece of grassy land that extends out from the main island through the beach and to the sea. This area actually comes in many shapes and sizes depending on the map and is always found on either the east or west shore of the island. Now, other than fishing or diving off this area into the sea for fun, there doesn't seem to be a purpose to the peninsula. It's now an iconic feature of a New Horizons map, but it's kind of just there. If it's big enough, you can terraform ponds or cliffs and customize it like any other area around the island, but the fact that it exists without any real purpose is very strange and for the most part seems to be a very unused area. Did it originally have a purpose? Was a boat going to dock here? Was this going to be an entrance to something? Who knows? Way back at launch, we said the same thing about the secret beach and the dock that have since become the docking locations for Jolly Red and Cap'n respectively. So seeing previously unused areas eventually have a purpose, it makes you wonder what the peninsula was originally intended for. If you have any ideas, be sure to let us know in the comments, and why not include what you currently use the peninsula for on your island. Number 4, museum. Now, for months the upstairs mezzanine area inside the museum was totally unused until finally Brewster was added to New Horizons and the Roost upgrade became available. At that point the stairs suddenly had meaning and an entrance for the Roost was placed on the left hand side, which makes sense as this is very similar to how it appeared in previous games when the Roost was part of the museum. This of course changed the bench area to an entrance and now leaves the right side of the mezzanine looking rather empty and unused. I can't help but think if the plan was to only have 2 entrances added to the museum upstairs, that the layout and architecture of the museum would have been completely different. The most popular theory for this seemingly unused area is that another door was planned for this area but for some reason never materialized. If past games are anything to go by, this unused area would be perfect for an entrance to either a museum shop or a museum observatory run by Celeste, which would give her a permanent home on days she's not visiting our islands during meteor showers. Again, maybe this was originally planned only to be scrapped, or maybe it's something they'll expand in the future. Either way, as things stand, this area is weirdly empty and unused. So there we have it, just a fun video going over some of the unused areas that still remain around the New Horizons island. Who knows, maybe in a future update or in the next Animal Crossing game we'll get some answers. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments and be sure to include what you think the peninsula or even the airport chairs were really intended for. As always, thank you so much to the patrons and channel members for supporting this content, and if you'd like to see a breakdown of every sibling that exists in Animal Crossing, be sure to check out this next video. Peace.